Imagine building a trillion-dollar economy only to discover that everything depends on one obscure commodity almost nobody has heard of. Not oil, not gold, not silver, tungsten. When supply disappeared, factories slowed, production costs exploded, inflationary pressure increased, and entire industrial strategies began to collapse. In today's language, tungsten was a critical industrial input whose shortage threatened the entire supply chain. Tungsten has one remarkable property. It has the highest melting point of any metal. It is also extremely hard. When mixed into steel, it dramatically increases durability. So tungsten was a crucial element needed for tungsten carbide, a vital component of anti-armor ammunition, forming the core of the round that punches through the armor plating. The lack of tungsten in ammunition production had many immediate effects, such as limited availability of anti-armor rounds for German forces. But tungsten carbide was also used in manufacturing for precision milling and metal work. A factory equipped with tungsten alloy tools could manufacture vastly more products before replacing expensive equipment. Machine tools lasted much longer. Cutting equipment stayed sharp. Industrial productivity increased. In modern economic terms, tungsten increased capital efficiency. Every kilogram generated returns far beyond its purchase price. That made it one of the highest value industrial commodities on Earth during World War II. Unlike iron or coal, tungsten is surprisingly rare. Before the war, most production came from China. Smaller but strategically important deposits existed in Portugal and Spain. This immediately created a macroeconomic problem. Industrial powers consumed enormous quantities, but supply depended on a handful of politically sensitive countries. It looked remarkably similar to today's dependence on semiconductor manufacturing or rare earth minerals. Whoever controlled the supply controlled industrial output. As demand skyrocketed, so did prices. Governments began competing directly in commodity markets. Instead of private companies bidding for tungsten, entire governments entered the market. Prices climbed rapidly. The metal became increasingly difficult to acquire. Purchasing agents traveled across Europe, offering cash premiums. Secret contracts appeared. Middlemen earned fortunes. Speculators entered the market. During World War II, tungsten trade had become a form of economic warfare. One country suddenly possessed enormous leverage: Portugal. Although officially neutral, Portugal controlled some of Europe's richest tungsten mines. Its exports became priceless. Both sides desperately wanted Portuguese production. The result was extraordinary. Instead of selling exclusively to one customer, Portugal often sold to both. This created a bidding war. Prices continued climbing. Government revenues increased dramatically. Foreign currency flowed into Lisbon. For a relatively small economy, tungsten became an enormous export opportunity. Natural resources had become geopolitical financial assets. Eventually, the competition changed. The Allies stopped tungsten exports from neutral Portugal to Nazi Germany through intense diplomatic pressure, economic leverage, and preemptive buying. Earlier in the conflict, the Allies engaged in a massive preemptive purchasing program, buying up available Portuguese and Spanish ore at inflated prices. This strategy forced Nazi Germany to pay exorbitant amounts for the metal and heavily depleted their accessible stockpile needed for armor-piercing shells and machine tools. Facing mounting pressure and realizing Germany could no longer retaliate effectively or win the war, Portugal officially suspended all exports in June of 1944. If your competitor couldn't buy tungsten, their industrial output would fall. This represents one of history's clearest examples of supply-side economic warfare. Destroying factories wasn't always necessary. Sometimes preventing access to raw materials produced similar results at a fraction of the cost. Global prices increased several times over as governments competed for limited production. Thousands of tons changed hands every year. Millions of dollars flowed through contracts that would equal hundreds of millions today after adjusting for inflation. For investors, this demonstrates a timeless rule. Scarcity creates pricing power. The story feels surprisingly familiar. Today the world worries about rare earth elements, semiconductors, battery minerals, even natural gas. The names change, the economics do not. When one country dominates production of a critical resource, every disruption becomes a global financial event. Markets react, prices spike, governments intervene, companies rethink supply chains, investors search for winners. Exactly the same mechanisms drove the tungsten market 8 years ago. This story isn't really about tungsten. It's about concentration risk. Whenever too much production is located in one place, the global economy becomes fragile. The struggle for tungsten proved that economic power begins long before products leave a factory. It begins inside mines, inside commodity exchanges, inside shipping contracts, inside supply chains. History often celebrates dramatic events. Yet behind every major conflict stood accountants, traders, mining companies, commodity brokers, and governments competing for resources that most people never noticed. Tungsten became one of the clearest examples that markets can influence history just as profoundly as politics. And today's economy still follows the same rules. The names of the commodities have changed. The financial lessons have not. I hope you enjoyed this video. To make sure you don't miss my future work, subscribe to my channel and press the bell notification button. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.